Hi, my name is Paige. Welcome to my channel. So I am actually almost done with this book. I think I have about 25% left, but I want to jump right in at the beginning and ask you to please keep any comments and discussion to just this book alone. Please don't talk about theories that I may have or may not have guessed correctly throughout this video if it pertains to later books in this series. So everything that is happening in this book, totally talk to me in the comments, and you can tell me if you had similar ideas and what you were thinking during this time, but please don't give me any spoilers. I really do try and go into all Brandon Sanderson books without knowing anything, and I enjoy it that way. So once I film more videos for the following books in the series, then we can expand the conversation a little bit more. But again, I just want to go into everything as blind as possible and enjoy it along with everybody, because I don't know pretty much anything in this series. So yeah, I'm loving it so far. I am close to being done, and you will probably see me again like this checking in on the last 25%, but I hope you enjoy this video. I've been having so much fun reading this book, so let's jump right in to the beginning. All right, my loan goes back to Libby in 6 days, so I have 6 days to read The Way of Kings, and I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm so nervous. I know I'm going to love this so much, but it just feels like I'm going to be spending the next 6 days reading all day, every day. But we will see how fast I can listen to the audiobook. That will help me speed up a little bit, and I will just be reacting to literally everything. So, as I've probably already said, if you want to avoid spoilers for this book, don't watch this video. I'm just going to share all of my thoughts as they come, and yeah, let's see if I can finish this in 6 days. I assume so, but I'm going to start off with probably an hour and then go to bed, and then spend all day tomorrow because I don't have to work, and read and read and read and read and see how this goes. Oh my gosh, this is dense. Okay, wish me luck. I made it 2% into this audiobook and only to page 25, which was the prologue before the prologue. What was that even called? The prelude, and then the prologue is all I have been able to read, but I am already exhausted, so I don't know what's going on at all, really. I feel like these powers are lightning powers is what I'm getting. Stormlight, you know. There also seems to be like infinity stones in this so far, so not sure what any of this is meaning. I just have to say though that listening to this is making my brain really confused, because it's the same narrator as the Mistborn series, and so the voice that he is using as the main narrator, Szeth, I think, is Calcier's voice, and then when Szeth speaks, it's Sazed's voice, so I just keep expecting those characters to pop up, you know, but I will continue on tomorrow when I have had rest and can understand any sort of fight scene, which is notoriously not something I understand. So we are going to try again tomorrow, because I didn't get any of that. Well, like, I got scraps, but you know, I would like to understand quite a bit more. See you tomorrow. Okay, so it's actually the next night. It is 8 o'clock at night, and I did not read anything at all today. I was cleaning and doing a bunch of other stuff, so I need to start reading tonight, and I need to make a decent gap. So I'm hoping that I can get to like 15%. That's the number in my brain. So we will see how I do, and I will keep you updated on my thoughts and feelings on this book. Okay, we have made it only to 10%. I could not make it to the full 15% I was hoping for, but I feel like I'm just barely starting to understand what is happening. It seems to take me about 100 pages for most of Brandon Sanderson's books, I feel like, but it started off with chapter 1 and a character named Sen, who I immediately loved, so I figured that I would probably never hear from him again, similarly to Six of Crows, where it starts off with a chapter from a character you never hear from again. So it's sad that we haven't seen from him, but I assume that he's probably no longer with us. And now it's just been switching back and forth between Kaladin and Shallan. I don't know if there will be any other point of views in later parts of this, but I'm not fully getting everything. I guess I understand that in this society it seems like the classes, or like your rank, has to do with your eye color. So if you have light eyes, you are like more of the upper class, and if you have dark eyes, you're more of the lower class. I'm not sure if I got that right or wrong. I have heard before reading this that the women in this society are the educated ones. They're allowed to read and write and have some sort of schooling, where men are not allowed that. So I did note that going into this book, but everything else I am so confused on. Still not really sure on Stormlight. What Stormlight is. There's a lot of things called friends that I think, spins. I keep wanting to call them sprites in my head. I think they're similar, but I don't know what those are or what any of the random creatures are that we've been learning about. So I feel like I'm like trying to open up a whole dictionary in my brain and put pieces together. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to really figure out what's going on. So this will be super interesting, but we're gonna read a little bit more tomorrow. I'm really starting to get worried that I will not be able to have this book back on time, but we're gonna do it, even if that means I have to pull a couple all-nighters. Okay, I need to go to bed though. It's almost 11 o'clock at night. All right, it is Saturday morning and I have been reading for maybe an hour or so, and I just need to say that Yelb right now is my favorite character. I hope we see that character throughout this book at least. I just like that he's cheating people out of their money, and it's really funny to me. So he is my favorite. I hope nothing happens to him, but saying that out loud, I feel like I just jinxed everything. Who knows if we'll ever even see this character after this beginning part. Alright, so we have made it to the end of part 1, and I honestly don't have a lot of theories of what is going to happen. I'm still feeling like I'm just learning the world, but I do have one guess that could happen with Shallan, and that is with that soulcaster and Jasmine, is that her name? I should have just double checked that, but I do think that Shallan is going to be able to follow through with her like scheming plan to steal the soul caster, only because in my mind the plan should fail, and every time I've made a prediction in a Brandon Sanderson book I am wrong. So because my instinct says she's going to fail, she's actually going to succeed in getting that soulcaster to like do whatever she meant to do to save her family. I guess we will see how that goes. It would be kind of cool if she didn't, but you know, I guess incorrectly all the time. So, you know, if I'm guessing both, I have to be correct in one, right? And then with Kaladin, I don't know. I don't know. He's just stepped up to be the bridge leader for Bridge 4, and I had to Google what pictures of the bridges look like because I was not understanding what any of that was. I'm still not super sure what this whole battlefield looks like and why they are putting bridges over the different plateaus, because I just feel like if somebody's going over the bridge, like that's a really easy target for them. I don't really know. I don't understand a lot of that stuff, but I'm glad that like Cal has gotten his strength back, like his internal strength. So we will continue on, see if anything happens. Who knows if that theory with Shallan will even happen in this first book. Will she even make it out of this first book? I have no idea. I really don't have predictions, but I'm gonna attempt to start forming some. Oh, speaking of soulcasters, I have been wondering if that ties into the Emperor's Soul. I did read that novella last year, and I don't remember a ton of details from that, but I do know that the person in that was creating something to do with souls. But was it a soulcaster? So I'm not sure if that's how that ties into this book at all. I know that they're all part of the Cosmere, but I don't know. I will have to like double check on that one, but I also am so scared to look up anything on Google and be spoiled for anything that happens in the next couple of books or even like later on in this beast of a book. So I try and stay away from the internet while I'm reading these, but I might have to figure out if that's what those are, just to connect some dots in my mind so that things start to make sense more. I don't know. I just thought I would add that in. Okay, I just finished chapter 13, and I just wanted to make note of this. I'm not sure if it means anything at all, but Dalinar, he has been hearing voices and whatnot in his head telling him he has to unite the people or something. And his son, whose name I cannot remember, there are so many names to remember in this, Adolin, he made note that like his father's going mad or something, and it really reminded me of Mistborn and Ruin's voice being in everybody's head because of the spikes that were in them. So I'm just wondering if somehow that has anything similar to do with it. Like after reading Mistborn, I know a little bit about, is it the shards? is that what they were called? And how it's something split off into like many different pieces and created all of the different planets that the books are based off of. So I'm just wondering if that voice in Dalinar's head has anything to do with that. I could be totally off, and I wouldn't be surprised if I was, but I just thought that that would be something interesting that would connect both series together in like a very thin way. You know, I know that they're not set in the same world at all, they're just part of the same like overall universe, so I think it would be interesting. Who knows if I am right, but that is a theory I am throwing out there just because. Okay, I am officially, I don't know if you can see that, 26% in. That is all, and I feel like I've been reading for years. But the one thing I've been thinking lately is just, I don't know how Kaladin does it. Like, I'm starting to pick up on something with the spheres. He's able to like draw power from them, I assume. So I think that's a little bit how he's able to just keep going, just by like his body physically giving out on him and him just like getting these surges of energy, which like props to him, because I could never. I mean, I have no energy as it is, but the way he just can keep going, I would simply just want to be unalived in this if I had to carry bridges and have arrows shot at me. So I don't know how he does it. I'm very impressed with him. I think he is officially my favorite character of the book, but I also feel like we've been with him the most, so by default he's become my favorite. But I feel like I'm officially into it. Like, I'm getting the world a lot more. I have had to look up what the spheres look like because I could not picture them. I was picturing like copper coins for some reason with like a gem stuck in between them, even though that's not a sphere. That's what I had in my mind, so I did have to look those up. I've had to look up what the bridges look like. I think I already said that. I've had to look up something else. I think one of the creatures. Did I? No, actually that was a part. There was a picture of these like horse-like creatures that are basically like hermit crabs in a way. Yeah, these. So I read that page so that I could understand what those were. There's a few other things that I might look up, like the spren, that's the word. I always say it wrong. The spren, and what they look like and what really their purposes are, because there's just a lot of little creatures that I didn't expect to be in this, and I'm having a hard time keeping track of what's what and what they do. And I feel like the spren weren't really described, or if they were, it was one of those moments in the book where I was still just trying to like get my bearings, so I didn't hear the full explanation of what they are and why they're there. But there's like spren for different emotions that people have, and pain, and a bunch of other different reasons too. So I'm trying to catch on to what they are currently, but everything else I feel like I'm finally starting to understand. So I'm really enjoying it. It is currently 5:30, and I think I'm gonna try and read until like 10:30 or 11:30 tonight and make as big of a dent as I can. I am listening at 2.5 speed, which I might be able to bump it up just a touch more. It's almost on the verge of being a little too fast for me, but I am enjoying it. I'm trying to figure out what I should be reacting to the most. I wish that I had more theories, but I'm still just like trying to enjoy it without overthinking things too much. I'm not big on like analyzing books and stuff, and usually when I do make theories, I am always wrong. So I don't know what I'm going to really be sharing in this vlog. Obviously, I've just been rambling about my feelings, so who knows what I'll talk about next. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, I am in the middle of Dalinar's vision right now, and I have a theory. So here it is. I went back and looked at the prelude, and it had like characters named Kalak, it seems like, and I remember him, or her, I think it's him, was saying that he had died before, and it seems like he gets resurrected. And there was another man or somebody who spoke to him at this time, and there was something to do with them like giving up on the oath pact and like retiring their blades or something. And it doesn't explain who they are, but in Dalinar's vision they also said you fought like one of the Radiants themselves. So now I'm thinking that the people from the prelude were the Radiants, and if I missed that, if that was like actually there, my bad. But I'm thinking that those were the Radiants, and they are able to like be resurrected many times, and I'm thinking that Dalinar was one of them, and he has forgotten that past. His name was Hev, apparently, and so he is seeing memories from his past. Do I know why? No, but that is my theory. I also think that Cal is going to be one of them as well. I'm just not sure. At the very end of that prelude, sorry, I'm like flipping back and forth to try and put my thoughts together, but at the end of that prelude, it said that there was one of them who was lost, one they had abandoned. And I think it's just one singular, because it says the place where the 10th sword should have gone. It doesn't say 10th and 11th or anything. So I think that there's one of them, either Dalinar or Cal is that person that was lost or forgotten or something. I don't know. Those are my current theories right now that I have on this. We will see how totally wrong I am, because as I've said, every theory I ever have in a Brandon Sanderson book has been wrong. Dalinar was a Radiant. He is just having memory flashbacks of those times. And the voices in his head are like the voices of the people that he knew then. I don't know. Do I know what a Radiant is? No, I don't. But I'm going with this theory for now. Oh yeah, I just remembered. Zeth, right? Is he the one that was left behind? That's the only other person that I can think of. There are so many characters in this book. I am having a hard time keeping them all straight. I might need to pull out like some sort of character map or something, because how are all of these characters supposed to remain recognizable in my mind? I don't know. Anyway, okay, going back to reading now. Okay, well, by the end of that chapter I was proven wrong, but that's okay. I can still think that Kaladin is one, right? Just not Dalinar. That's okay though. As I said, I am always wrong on my theories, but I try. If Rock dies, I will riot, okay? He is now my favorite. Nothing better happened to him. Nothing better happened to him. Does not bode well that I like him so much. I feel like I haven't moved from this spot in ages, but I have completed book 1 of the 2-part Way of Kings, and I am impressed that Shallan was able to go through with it. I didn't think she would be able to, and it seemed like she wasn't going to be able to, but you know, shouldn't have doubted her. So I still have, according to the audiobook, 21 hours left. I'm still listening on 2.5 speed, so that is what, around 10 hours, a little under 10 hours. So I'm gonna try and read up until bedtime tonight. I do have to cook dinner at some point, and a show that I like to watch is on tonight, so that'll probably be 2 hours out of my time. It is currently 4:30. I have at least 6 hours I can read. Probably be reading for another 4 at least tonight. But I've literally been in this spot all day in the same pajamas I've been in like all weekend. But I'm liking it. I am. I just wish that it was a little shorter. Dude, fuck Roshan for sending Tien to war. I know Tien is gonna die, like it's been said multiple times, but I am not gonna be able to handle it. Fuck that man. Are you joking? He's a baby. He's a baby. Tien's gonna be the one that makes me cry. I know it. That is gonna be what breaks me. He's just a baby. I'm so tired, but I have to keep reading so I can finish it. What is going on with Shallan? What was that? What just happened? She keeps seeing figures and then like drew them over and over again, and it was kind of spooky, and then she turned a goblet into blood, and I'm so confused. I feel like we don't see enough of her, so every time it's one of her chapters, I just don't care so much, just because she's not as intriguing as other characters we spend way more time with. But I'm still very intrigued to know what's going on with her, and I also just want to figure out what Yasna is trying to solve, what the exact answer is she's trying to find in all of her studies and stuff. But oh my goodness, I feel like I've been reading this book for 100 years. I'm trying to get to the end of part 3 and then I'm gonna go to bed for tonight and then try and make a dent tomorrow. I have 2 days until the audio goat, I think that's what I almost said, the audio book goes back to Libby. So I'm on page 122 and I need to make it to 186 tonight, and it is almost 11 o'clock at night. I'm so tired. Why is this book so long? It's nearly midnight, but I hate Amaran. I hate him so much. What was the point? Why did that have to happen? Oh my gosh. This book makes me like sick to my stomach. Ugh. Okay, I need to go to bed. But I adore this book so far, but man, I'm so sleepy. Okay, see you tomorrow maybe. I have to see you tomorrow because I have to finish this book tomorrow. Okay, we got this. Hello, hi. So it is Tuesday and I had an interview this morning, so I haven't read anything yet, but I think the interview went well. She basically asked me 0 interview questions because this was a place that I had done a temporary job at before, and so she basically said that she's just waiting for approval to send me something. So I stressed out and prepared for that interview all morning for almost nothing. Like I didn't have to answer any of the questions I prepared, you know, but I'm excited. Anyway, I need to read this. According to Libby, it's going to take me roughly, what does it say? 6 hours and 33 minutes, and it needs to go back tomorrow at 6:41 p.m. So I think I can do it. I am going to attempt to get about 3 hours today, if not a little bit longer, and then finish it out tomorrow morning. And I don't know if I want to like jump right into the second book because I have all of these books on my shelf that I need to also read, but I want to try and read the second book as soon as I can. So if you are liking this video and like how I'm just reacting to random things here and there, please let me know so I know to continue doing this type of video for the rest of the series. But yeah, we're gonna keep going. That clicking sound is my AC. I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it, but I do need to ask, what is with the Zeth Sun Volano, Truthless of Shinovar? Why does that start every single one of his chapters? And what does the Sun mean? Because I don't feel like it's been explained, so I don't get it. But yeah, that's all. Sorry about the clicking. It's a summer thing in my house and all my videos. Okay, coming in with another theory. So Dalinar is talking about his latest vision that he just had, and he was saying how the Night Radiant came in, and he said, I think at the end of each episode, one of the heralds comes to me and commands me to unite the high princes of Alethkar. But the exact words of the herald, is that what he called him? Just say, read the book, unite them. It doesn't specify who. And so now I'm wondering if the point is to unite all of the blades, like all of the shards together to make like a mega one. I don't know if that's something that could happen, if they can be melded together or something, but that's where my theory is going. He's not talking about the high princes because like why would he? I think it's about something to do with the shard. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading now. Wait, I just had an epiphany. When I was talking about the uniting of all the shards, we've just now learned, or a couple chapters ago, we learned that Kaladin has the ability to like stick things together. I don't remember the exact terminology used for that, but what if he's the one who's able to do it because of this like power that he has to like tie things up? Him and Syl. That's my theory now. My theory is that all of the shards or something along those lines have to be unified together, and Kaladin is going to be the one who has the ability to do it. This also means that he's probably gonna die and somebody else will have to do it in his stead. But that's where my brain is going. Huh? Okay, it's a theory, you know? Oh my goodness, do you see that? Do you see how close I am to being done? Maybe if it focuses. Look at that. Almost 7 hours. But at 2.5 times speed, it's gonna go by so much faster. I just finished the chapter where we figure out what could be going on with Dalinar's visions, and I really want to keep reading, but it is also 10:30 at night, and I feel like I better just save the last 100 or so pages for tomorrow. But I just want to know what's going on. I feel like we won't get all the answers because, you know, this is supposed to be a 10-book series, but I want to wrap up a couple of those things. Like I want to know what the visions are. I want to know if Kaladin and his crew are going to be able to escape, and I want to know what happened to Shallan. Like, I just need like a brief update on her, because the last we saw of her was Yasna basically just saying, you gotta go back to where you came from because you're a thief. So I need an update on her, and then I feel like I'll be satisfied with book 1. I will say though, I don't feel like this book has given me a very clear plot. I feel like there's just so many details that it feels so slow, and I'm not sure what the end goal of this one is. So I'm just here for the ride, you know. I am enjoying it. But yeah, tomorrow we're finishing this out. It'll probably take me about 3 hours, and I am so excited to kind of be done with this book, but to just have some answers. Okay, we have literally 3 hours before my loan goes back to Libby, and it says that it should take me 2 hours and 27 minutes to finish this book. So I literally have to be reading it right now. But I have no idea what to predict for the end of this book. I feel like somebody has to die, and I think that that would be Dalinar. He seems like the best bet. I think Kaladin will make it into book 2. If it's not Dalinar that dies, I think the king might die. I'm not sure though, but I feel like we're losing somebody important by the end of this. I just don't know who. And I really don't know what to expect with Kaladin trying to escape the bridgemen, or like escape with his bridgemen. I don't know if he's going to succeed in that. I'm going to assume he does not. And then who else really is there? I did like peek ahead at the next part, like the cover page of the next part, and it says that we'll see from Shallan, so that's all of that I need to know on that aspect. But yeah, I don't know what to expect for the end of this. I feel like I've never really known where this book was headed, so let's see how this goes. I will try and react to whatever pops up, so I will see you when anything of note happens. I'm too nervous to be hopeful. Something's gonna go wrong. It can't be this easy. I'm so stressed. Oh my god, I'm so stressed. I knew finding out what happened to Deonn would hurt, but like, man, I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what would happen then. I thought we'd have like a book or two to learn what happened to him. I just didn't want to see it. Oh my god. Okay, so much has literally just happened. I have like a stress rash. I was getting so anxious. Okay, so I first turned the camera on right when Sadeas betrayed Dalinar, because I was like, whoa, that is news that is not quite shocking, but I was like starting to trust Sadeas too. Like, I finally let my guard down, which, you know, shouldn't have happened. And then it looked like Dalinar was about to die, and then we learned about what happened to Deonn, and I could not handle that at all. And then Kaladin, I just forgot his name, I almost called him Calendar. Kaladin saved the day, and it seems like it is confirmed that he's a Radiant, or he has the power of the Radiance. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but Syl had said something like, say the words, and he did, and he was able to fight through all of the Parshendi, and he took down another shard bearer, but he didn't kill it, so he doesn't get to keep like the blade or the plate, even though he wouldn't want it. So it's looking like Bridge 4 is going to be safe in Dalinar's camp now, and I'm very happy about that. We will see what are the repercussions of that, but none of my faves died, to my knowledge. at least like we haven't checked in on all of the characters. Like I don't know if Rock is safe. I don't know if, why am I forgetting all of their names? Is it Sigil? No, who's the one who always calls him Gancho? Lopin. I don't know if Lopin's okay. I love him. And there's a few others that I just want to know if they are at least living. So that was very stressful. I think my stress rash is going down a little bit, but wow. Okay. Everything always happens in the last like 150 pages of Brandon Sanderson books. So I'm living right now. This is so good. We have done it. We have finished after 19 hours of reading this book. I swear I feel like I've been reading it for a week straight, but it ended on such a good note that I want to go on with the series. I want to start the next book, but I have so many books I have to read. Do I just throw away all of my TBR and jump into the next one? I don't know. I feel like I might need a little bit of a break, a little bit of time to read reviews, watch other videos of people talking about this book and what they feel about it. I'm just so worried to encounter any spoilers, but I really enjoyed this one. And I am super stressed about what's going to happen because we found out that Zeth has been told that he has to now kill Dalinar. And I was so worried that that's where the book was going to end. But you know, now I have all of the anxiety building up for the next book. But yeah, it had so much going on. We found out what happened with Shallan, so I'm glad that I know what's going on there. We found out about the Voidbringers, and Kaladin and his crew are safe for the time being. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped to keep on with the series. But yeah, I am going to probably film a final outro clip if you want to stick around for that. But other than that, this is the end of my reacting. And now let's talk about overall thoughts in the next clip. Okay, let it be known, I absolutely hate this hairstyle, but my hair is so greasy that this is the only thing I can do with it. Hello. Okay, we finished Way of Kings. It took me 6 days. It took me 20 hours to read this thing. But I ended up actually really enjoying it more than I anticipated. I've found lately that I've been building up a lot of hype around certain books and they aren't living up to it as much, but I wasn't surprised that this was going to work for me. I really like Brandon Sanderson's way of writing. I like how straightforward everything is, and so it's easy for me to understand, because anything that touches on being flowery or purpley prose, I just am not a big fan of. So the way that everything is just so laid out, so structured, really works for my brain. I enjoy it. It did take me about 250 pages or so to really get into the story and understand what was going on, but overall I had such a good time. However, I have since been watching videos and people talking about this book, and I have realized that I missed a huge thing that happened towards the end with Shallan. So I found out that in that later section, after she is drawing all of those figures and whatnot, when she's running away from them, apparently she pulls out a shard blade, and I completely missed that. I don't know what was going through my mind. I don't know how I missed something that big, but it made sense why she was then revealing that she was a murderer. I was wondering why that just like came out of nowhere. Apparently it didn't. It had a purpose, and she has a shard blade because she murdered her father. So very interesting to me. Did not know that. I'm glad that I watched some videos and reviews about that, because I wouldn't have noticed until probably the next book. But my favorite character was Kaladin towards the end. Favorite side character ended up being Rock. Love Rock so much. The most devastating part of this book is what happens to Deonn. I was trying to edit that part of the video and I actually cried again. So that was heartbreaking, super emotional. Least favorite character is going to be Sadeas. I mean, obviously he's like piece of shit. What else? Least favorite thing that happened outside of Sadeas being awful was Dalinar and Navani. I don't know why, but I didn't like it. I just thought it was very strange, especially when he kept saying like, I don't want to do this, like you need to make sure that there's always a guard around, like this is improper. And he just kept pushing back, and she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Made me a little wary of her. I felt like I couldn't trust her. But then them getting together just wrong with me because he doesn't remember his wife. And I feel like it's not supposed to bother me as much, but it does. Like, he cannot remember his wife, and he's not admitting that to anybody, but he's allowing himself to be with her. Something was weird about that. I'm not sure. Maybe it'll grow on me. I do think that Brandon Sanderson writes terrible romance. He's not a romance girly, okay? So even in Mistborn, I wasn't a big fan of Vin and Ellen, just because I feel like there was no chemistry. It was so dry, and I felt like that with these two as well. So not a big fan of that whole plot, but that's okay. Other things that I really enjoyed: Szeth, and seeing him sobbing throughout some of his assassinations that he has to do. I really enjoyed seeing that aspect in him, because from the opposite point of view, you would just think like, oh, he's a cold-blooded killer, but really it's tearing him apart to do this. So I am super interested to see his story and get more about him, because I have seen in another review that each of the following books focuses mainly on a certain character, and we get their certain backstory. So I know that Szeth gets a backstory. I don't know in which book, but I know that it's in one of them. So I'm super excited to see that. But other than that, I don't know if I have anything left to say. I feel like I wrote a billion things down, but my phone was nearly dead when I went to go film this, so it would have died on me if I had it with me. But it is definitely a new favorite of mine. I am excited to continue on. Let me know if I should continue on immediately, or if I should actually read my TBR for the month and focus on that. You know, I should probably do that instead. But if you have made it this far, thank you so much. Leave me a sword emoji so I know that you made it. And hopefully this next reaction video, if that's what you want to see, comes out in a month or so. And until then, I have a few other videos that will come out shortly. So if you want to subscribe and see those, stick around. But I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.